Yo, what up, YouTube? It's Rye. And let me holler real quick. Don't let yourself be easy prey for the enemy. Understand, my friend, there are people looking and searching for people to prey on. That's why self-love and self-care is so important, because they prey on the sick. They prey on the people with low self-esteem. They prey on the unhealthy. That's who they feed off of. They're parasites. So understand, my friend, don't try to blend in. Don't hide. Stand tall. Don't try to be a chameleon and blend in out of fear. That's what they want you to do. Because even if they don't get you, you still lose because you're afraid to put yourself out there, because you're afraid of the enemy. Don't be afraid of the predator. Don't be afraid of the hunters. Instead of being the hunted, become the hunter. Become it yourself. So understand that when you blend in, when you police yourself out of fear, because you're afraid of the enemy, you're afraid of the powers that be, you're afraid of the regime, you still lose no matter what. Because even if you are prey and you stand tall and you lose, that means more. At least you still in your beliefs. You lost, but you still in your beliefs, and you can still bounce back from a loss. But when you try to blend in, be a chameleon, and you police yourself, dumb yourself down, try to acclimate to whoever you're around because you're afraid of judgment, you still lose. And once you let your hair down and be yourself, they'll turn on you too. They're not really your friends. So don't be afraid to be yourself. So understand, my friend, don't be easy prey for the enemy. Don't let them seek you out. Don't let them try to chew you up and spit you out. Because understand, you're stronger than what you realize, and you're stronger than what you let on. Tap into that. A lot of times we have it within us, and we're afraid of what will happen once we let it out. We're afraid we won't be able to harness and control that energy that we have. You're more powerful than what you realize and what you let on, but you're afraid of what the consequences will be if you can't harness the energy, if you can't maintain it, if you can't hold on to it, or if you put yourself completely out there and you fail, if you put yourself completely out there and you lose. All that doubt, all that self-doubt, all that fear needs to be erased from your mind. You know, you are the king of the jungle. You are, the queen bee for my ladies out there. You the queen bee of the hive. You the king of the jungle. You are that. They are not as strong as you think they are. They only prey on the weak. So understand this, they prey on the weak, but they're trying to make you scared of them. They never go toe to toe with people that's on the same level as them. They want to prey on the weak only, but you're not weak. And even if you are, you don't have to continue to be. Even if you are weak, even if you do have low self-esteem, even if you do have a low sense of self-worth, you don't have to continue to feel that way, to be that way. Free yourself, be yourself, work on yourself. Break them shackles. That cell that you're in, you put yourself there. That box that you're in, you allowed them to put you in there. Free yourself, be yourself, work on yourself. When you be yourself, you're unapologetic of who you are. When you free yourself, you unlock that cage and you break out. And when you work on yourself, you add on to who you are, your core. Who you are, your core, you add on to it. It's right now you're in a prototype. You working on yourself, after you free yourself, you be yourself. When you work on yourself, that's the update. That's the new level. That's the upgrade. So who you are, your core, don't need to change, but there's always room for improvement. So don't be easy prey for the enemy. You're not prey. You're not. You view yourself as that, and you don't have to be a chameleon and blend in out of fear so the predators don't see you. Don't do that either, because that's still a loss. If you watch on while the hyenas and the lions kill the gazelle, and you watch on in horror and don't do anything, you're just as guilty, because that could have been you. That could have been you, especially if the people around you would have stood up for you and you won't stand up for them. If you watch on in horror while your friends and family suffer, you just as guilty as they are. So understand, put yourself in the position to succeed, and you will. If you're not strong enough yet, hone your craft. Sometimes you got to stay in the chamber longer. You're not weak for that. Now that ain't nothing. There's nothing shameful about that. Sometimes you gotta lock in, get in that hyperbolic time chamber. You gotta train. And when you're ready to stand up to the regime, when you're ready, don't go out there and get yourself killed. You know, if you're not ready, you're not ready. Don't let your pride blind you. If you ain't ready, you ain't ready. Get in that time chamber and train. And when you're ready, stand up to the regime. But don't hide in fear. Imagine the rest of your life hiding in fear, thinking about what could have been. You're not prey. You're just as strong as they are. You know, they're bullies. You're a warrior. There's a difference between being a leader and a tyrant. There's strength in showing restraint. You lead with love. You lead with love and courage, and you encourage others to be strong. They want to police others and bully them to be weak. You're not prey. You're not even a predator. You're a warrior. Behave like it and act like it. Free yourself. Be yourself. Work on yourself. But hey, it's Rye. Like, comment, subscribe. I love you, family. We growing, family. Woo woo. And you got this, homie. It's already yours.